Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. Now, I'm a strong supporter of gay and lesbian rights. I believe that everyone on this planet deserves the freedom to express their admiration, affection, love or attraction for anyone at all, no matter what gender they are. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Strange Frame, a lesbian romance set in the future.
Strange Frame is an American animated sci-fi romantic thriller set during the 28th century. In this future, humankind lives on Ganymede, which is one of Jupiter's moons, and many humans have been genetically altered to help them adapt to the environment. Our story focuses on a woman called Parker, who has fallen in love with a slave she freed called Naya. Naya and Parker start a band together and end up meeting a record producer called Dolan Mig. After Mig gets rid of Parker and the rest of the bandmates, he begins building a robot replica of Naya and keeps the real Naya trapped away. Meanwhile, a legless man called Gremlin and a winged monkey called Risa are busy building their own ship. When Parker finds out that her girlfriend is a prisoner, she joins forces with Gremlin and Risa in a bid to rescue Naya. This is a very trippy film. Watching Strange Frame is definitely an interesting experience because of all the wondrous sounds and sights it has to offer. It tells its story through colourful and glorious abstract imagery and a unique art style. However, it's not a perfect work of art. It has a few flaws that are worth noting. Sometimes the cinematography can get a bit hectic, and the framing is often made up of uncomfortably tight close-ups. This style of presentation isn't consistently all the way through the film, but it's a common creative choice that makes it hard to paint a picture or feel an atmosphere. However, when the cinematography calms down, it can give us some very powerful psychedelic images that are a treat to watch because they're so wonderfully weird and creative. As for the film's romance, well, the relationship between Parker and Naya isn't anything special. We don't get to see them getting to know each other, so their emotional connection isn't very convincing. Sure, they share intimate moments together and say sweet things to each other, but they don't bond emotionally or share their deepest sincere feelings. A movie's romance isn't as simple as showing characters snuggling and having them say, "I love you." Love is a powerful emotional connection, and it takes a lot to prove to an audience that two characters are extremely romantically close. There's not enough material to help us believe that Parker and Naya are mutually in love with each other. It doesn't help that Naya and Parker are only on screen together for a quarter of the movie. I think that the film's strongest element is its dialogue. Nearly every line spoken in the film is laced with rich vocabulary and elegant poetry. There's a lot of profoundness, wit, and personality within the film's spoken words. Parker is a calm and content woman. While a relationship with Naya is underwritten, I can't deny that Parker clearly really likes Naya. We can feel Parker's admiration for Naya through her heartbreaking narration and relentless determination to save her from the villain. Parker is a likable heroine because she's so cool and relaxed, but also human and relatable. She's confident and sensible, but she is open to expressing her anger, sadness, and pain too. Naya is only in a quarter of the film or so, but she's pretty fun. She's energetic, wacky, and charmingly upbeat. She's so wonderfully optimistic and eccentric that you can see why Parker fell for her. Even though she's had a hard life as a slave, Naya has managed to retain her positive energy, and that's quite inspiring. Gremlin and Risa are my favourite characters. They bounce off each other wonderfully like Laurel and Hardy or the Three Stooges. The contrast between their personalities is what makes them so fun. While Risa is very sensible, practical, and serious, Gremlin is content, calm, and laid back. So it's pretty amusing watching them interact with each other because Risa gets so frustrated by Gremlin's carefree attitude. Dolan Mig, the villainous protagonist who ruins Parker's life, is kind of a one-note bad guy. He's nothing memorable and we don't get to dive into his backstory or learn more about him. Sure, it's hinted that Mig wanted to be a pop star when he was a child, but the film doesn't go into detail about this character history. While the cutout animation does look vibrantly colourful and stylistic, it isn't exactly impressive in terms of movement. Characters often move crudely and their facial expressions are either stilted or limited. A lot of the cutout puppets look robotic and lack the energy needed to reflect their feelings or personalities. I won't deny that the designs and visual style of the film are very pretty to look at, but the character animation just didn't impress me. The character's movement doesn't match the energy of the voice actors' deliveries too, which can be distracting. Claudia Black gives Parker a soft, seductive and cool voice that's very soothing to listen to. Black manages to not only sound appealing to the ears, but also achieves pulling off all the emotions she needs to display. I could feel the sorrow and anguish of Parker's heartbroken words through Black's delivery because she really sells her performance. Tara Strong sounds bouncy, energetic and high-spirited in the role of Naya. It's Strong's voice that really helps to make Naya come across as appealingly likable because she clearly had fun recording her dialogue in the studio. Cree Summer provides the voice of Risa, and as usual, she's brilliant. You can really sense Risa's aggravation with Gremman in Summer's delivery. Ron Glass plays the character of Gremman. He makes Gremman sound convincingly world-weary by performing his lines with frail and tired fatigue. There's a lot of tragedy and weakness in Glass's voice for Gremman. Tim Curry lends his voice to Dolan Mig, and Curry never ceases to impress or entertain me, even if he's in a bad movie. Although his character is a one-dimensional villain, Curry puts his best effort into his voice acting by reading his lines with huge interest and strength. Other cast members include Star Trek actors George Takei and Michael Dorn, who sadly go to waste in bit parts, but it's still fun listening out for their cameos. The music score for Strange Frame is made up of shady jazz, dark ambience, melancholic trip-hop, and hypnotic rock. A series of music styles that are perfect for capturing a seedy futuristic world because of their film noir feel. It's a very strong original score that matches the imagery on screen. When a scene needs to be sexy, the saxophones are played with sensual and sultry delight. When a scene needs to be sad, the music softens and quietens down to provide gentle R&B. The film also features some original songs that are all bloody fantastic. Each song is laced with delicious lyrics, hip rhythms, strong singing and cool beats. Every song has been composed with care and detail, so you're bound to enjoy at least one of them. The soundtrack for this film is an awesome treat for the senses. It's clear that the makers of this movie have a heartfelt passion for the art of music.
To conclude, Strange Frame is a colourful and vibrant film. It's kind of like taking a drug. It has a unique art style, strong voice acting, wonderful dialogue, fantastic music, and fun, likeable characters. However, it's not perfect. Like I said at the beginning, it's got a few flaws. These flaws let it down. For example, it's clear that Parker really loves Naya, but their relationship together isn't very convincing. It's nothing special, and it's not very interesting either. In addition, the cinematography can become over the top sometimes. A lot of scenes rely on extreme close-ups and hyperactive zooms. Oh, it can become irritating, if I'm honest. I'm going to give this film 3.5 trippy stars out of 5. Now, if some of you are still wondering whether this film is your kind of pill, then consider this. If you like psychedelic cartoons like Yellow Submarine, or enjoyed the space adventures of the crew in Cowboy Bebop, then you're going to love Strange Frame. I've been Jambareeqi. I hope you've enjoyed my review of Strange Frame. Next week I'll be reviewing Looney Tunes Back in Action, the sequel to Space Jam. Now, if some of you really love someone, then let them know. It doesn't matter what race or gender you are, or what race or gender they are. Let them know and feel proud of your love. Cheerio, folks.